All right, looks like we're live. Let me just make sure this is going out okay on the old YouTubes. And okay, sounds all right. All righty. So, what a few days it's been with the Baked Alaska drama. I have to say, I think I'm a touch burned out on the blood sports. I really like the internet blood sports stuff. I'm particularly big fan of the Kumite. I don't always catch it live, partly because I can't play live shit on my phone on YouTube. I don't know if it's my phone or if it's the mobile site for YouTube or whatever, but it never lets me play live stuff. And I'm not always downstairs at the computer. A lot of times I like to have the YouTube videos playing on my phone when maybe I'm up in my room playing some Breath of the Wild or I'm doing some cleaning or cooking or whatever, like try and multitask with it. So I mostly catch Kumite on Kronos' channel. Kronos actually got a strike. All Kronos does, by the way, is upload blood sports clips. And he got a strike against him from Baked Alaska or one of his surrogates because Baked Alaska's pussy hurt. So Kronos can't actually upload for a couple of weeks. Pardon me. Which is where my main channel is, I guess. Well, no, I can upload, but won't be able to stream on there for a while. Really miss them fucking super chats. I'm going to try and get some really good content for you guys when I get back onto the main channel. Luke, a lot of times he does like Subnautica Let's Plays. Well, I'm going to try and get him to download some actual, like some other games and see about doing that. Like there's a fan-made game where it's just a simulator type thing, but all you really do is you walk around the Enterprise D from Star Trek TNG. Really well made, really well detailed. Razorfist did a Let's Play of it. And there's also a 2D prototype of Breath of the Wild that got made that Nintendo started it early in the process of making Breath of the Wild. And I guess somebody else kind of ran with it. I'm not entirely sure, but I saw a channel playing that, and I think we'd probably do that. Pardon me. Snorting like DSP over here. I apologize. Somebody says, in spite of it all, I still feel bad for Baked. He's such a pitiable creature. I don't know. He's sort of like he's sort of like the Jeb Bush of YouTube. You want to feel bad for him until you remember what a reprehensible shitbag he is. And somebody else says, Bechtloff, when are you going to fight those damn damn Ganon possessed divine beasts? I don't know. I'm kind of reaching the end of a lot of the a lot of the exploration I can really do in Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's still plenty more I'm sure I can explore. But I have all the towers unlocked. I've gotten tons and tons and tons of the seeds. I mean, I've expanded my shield once or twice, I think, and the bows a couple of times, like the inventory for them. I've completely expanded the weapons inventory. I haven't stumbled across a new shrine in forever. Somebody says the guy recreated it based off of a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, that's interesting. Bechtloff, be a man, murderify some divine menopausal beast. Breaking news: in her last days, Barbara Bush declared George W. her favorite son, Jeb, on suicide watch. Rush was talking about some leftist professor running her mouth about, oh, fuck Barbara Bush. I'm glad she's dead. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I like Barbara Bush. I think she just seemed like an incredibly sweet old lady. At the same time, though, in recent years, I've become so acutely aware of what dirtbags the Bushes in general were, that I feel like like I have no reason to believe she was a shitbag besides the fact that the rest of her family was. And I'm just thinking like there's probably really, really shitty things about her I don't know. But it's some old lady died. Let judgment be the Lord's, I guess. I don't know. You'll notice I'm not out here singing her praises. Um, but somebody has to be very, very obviously a shitbag for me to dance on their grave. Bechtloff, may I suggest a comic book for you? Bonehead by Top Cow. It's cyberpunk parkour with no politics. I used to like the Top Cow universe early on, where it was like Witchblade, the Magnola, and Darkness and Tomb Raider, and Laura Croft was in it. I liked a lot of that stuff, but I mean that's like 20 years ago. What the hell? Comics wise, this week I picked up a few new comics. I'm reading Power Rangers because there's this big crossover story called Shattered Grid. It's pretty good so far. I got the last issues of another Batman Ninja Turtle crossover and a Planet of the Apes King Kong crossover, which is surprisingly good. And what the hell else? I picked up Action Comics number 1000. It feels like an asterisk belongs next to that because it was the relaunch, and then they went back to the original numbers, but whatever. It was good, actually. There was some solid Superman stories in there. What the hell else did I pick up? There was a couple other things I don't even fucking remember, though. But yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead and bang out the Divine Beast. I'm probably going to do the water one, at least try and do it first. I've heard that's one of the harder ones, but I'm like really close to getting into it. Like I still got to work a ways to get into the camel in the desert, or the bird, or the fucking lizard up on Death Mountain. I wonder if there's some sort of symbolism. I don't know. Call Gaijin Goomba. See what sort of symbolism is behind the animal choices for the Divine Beast. I'd love to know why those 4 animals in particular chosen. I mean, the bird and camel for their respective areas is pretty obvious, but the lizard and elephant are a little less. I'm sure Gaijin Goomba already did a video on it. For as much of a soy boy as he is pretty good with that stuff. Oh, Bechtloff, I mentioned before, but do you watch I Love Comics or Comics Division on YouTube? They're pretty fun dudes to watch for comic stuff. I really haven't. In all fairness, it kind of occurred to me, there's really not any comic videos I watch on YouTube. None that I really can think of. Diversity in Comics and what the other dude, I can't even remember. There was Diversity in Comics and another one that were kind of at the forefront of that Comics Gate shit. I watched them for a little bit, but it's like I don't want to watch. Like, I get it. The latest thing Marvel put out was SJW trash. I get it. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Yeah. So he says symbolism behind the Divine Beast. Ask the game theorist. He's like the Alex Jones of gaming. Well, no, actually, for something like that, it'd be best to ask Gaijin Goomba, because he's good at like pointing out all the, mythological and historical and cultural things that these games are, drawing on. Breath of the Wild is just a fantastic game so far, though. I would love to play that 2D version, though, like the version done in the style of the original Zelda. Like Nintendo had to fucking release that shit. Let's see. So he says the elephant is the hardest one, I think. Well, maybe I won't get far and I'll try and bang out one of the other ones first then. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see on that. Yeah, there's really not much else I can do. I mean, so he says, I'm waiting till the Switch's build quality gets better. It's pretty fine now. I don't have any problems with mine. And I haven't heard any. I mean, I heard some horror stories at launch, but I haven't heard any stories since. I think you're probably fine now. Captain Cummings was the other one. Yeah. So he says, yeah, I unsub from D&C and Captain Cummings. I love comics and comics division more fun and less negativity. They also interact with the chat more. Yeah, I just like I said, it's like okay, yeah, the latest issue of Darker Miss Marvel is trash. I of course it is. You know, I broke my rule on reading on picking up a Dan Slott issue anymore. I picked up Amazing Spider-Man 799 today just because I was. And it wasn't that good, but I was curious in the story because there's, Norman Osborn has become the Red Goblin, and meaning he's gotten his hands on the Carnage symbiote and he's bonded with it. Now, I love Green Goblin, Norman Osborn. That's him and Carnage are my two favorite Spider-Man villains. Now, while I actually like Carnage much more so than the symbiote looking cool, I like the idea of this nihilistic serial killer that actually pushes Spider-Man to question his no-killing rule. But nonetheless, you took, one of my favorite villains and an element from another of my favorite villains and put them together. I couldn't resist. And it was okay. I mean, I might pick up 800 and finish this story. It was okay. Let's see. Somebody says, "Is the Nintendo eShop up for the Switch yet?" I don't know. I haven't actually. Well, I guess yeah, it is because I got Sonic Mania. I downloaded Sonic Mania, so I guess it has to be. I haven't really paid much attention to that though. I'm not really an eShop kind of guy. Although I have to admit, I did end up getting a lot of downloadable games on my 3DS. So he says, LOL, Bechtloff. Some of the guys at I Love Comics have mentioned your former co-host comments on Heather Antos and the Milkshake Girls thing. You're both nameless legends. That was such a known thing. Like, okay, so, I posted the picture of the Milkshake crew, and I was like, gee, I wonder why no wonder Marvel can't sell comics or whatever, something along those lines. And then Craig Langley, he posts under it, he's like, I totally banged that one in the middle, which was Heather Antos. And I just posted under it, like, you might want to have her sign a waiver first. She looks like the false rape charge type. I like you'd think him and I were both talking about skull fucking her to death, the way everyone had a conniption fit and the way the White Knights rode into battle. Like, chill the fuck out. Y'all just proved my point that she doesn't fucking belong in the industry. That she doesn't belong in any industry. Somebody says, "Want me some Castlevania?" I'm not sure which ones you want. I don't know. I mean, I assume most of the ones are up on the Virtual Console. I have Castlevania 2 actually on my 3DS because I wanted to. I did a not that bad video on the main channel about it, and I wanted to play through it first. Not first, but I played through it as a kid. Well, I got through most of it as a kid, but I wanted to actually play through it again and get my thoughts kind of fresh on it. It says, "Obey your thirst, Goyam." Yeah, there's a lot of Sprite drinking motherfuckers following Heather Antos. Virtual console should be here by the end of the year, but still Nintendo is dragging themselves on with the NES and SNES minis. Yeah, they never really came up with second wave of those, did they? It's a shame. They were, they would have sold a lot more. Bechtloff, consider this. It's thanks to you that Craig Langley and DNC and Captain Cummings became famous. You shattered the SJW narrative. Yeah, not to suck my own dick, but I'm basically the one that, okay, there was a handful of others, but I'm basically the one that really kickstarted it, okay? Me and Craig, our tweets were the ones, you know, fucking Huffington Post and shit ran with. Um, Heather Antos belongs in an industry where she's constantly on her knees. Um, has Beckloff talked about Aaron and blood sports? Aaron the Thought. Well, I will say this: it's very, very inaccurate to say that Aaron cucked baked Alaska, because at least cucks get to watch. Um, Beckloff, the Paul Revere of Comicsgate. I've been saying it for years. I mean, it's a damn shame what's being done to comics. It really is. We live in a generation where there are no adults left writing things. Sadly, that's true. I mean, that's why I was making fun of that picture. It's like, holy shit, look, the entire editorial staff of Marvel Comics appears to be 15-year-old girls. I tell you what, every once in a while I get a hankering for Cherry 7 Up. Big fan of it. I don't drink it constantly like I do the fucking Pepsi. I drink way too fucking much, but every once in a while I get a hankering for it. Somebody in the chat asked how much for the couch. Classic trolling. Love it. I wonder if people are still doing that on Facebook Lives. Like I really don't do it much myself anymore, but the old couch gangs striking again. Oh, that was a lot of fun for like about a month or two there. Everybody was just enjoying the hell out of that. I don't know where it came from, and that's a great thing about memes and shit like that. Sometimes you don't really need to know where it came from to enjoy the ride. So he says DC's Dark Knight Metal and New Age of Heroes has been great. Damage is the best new character DC has going on. I should check that out then. Um, let's see, Beckloff, your suggestion of watching Wings of Redemption has provided me with hours of quality entertainment. To think this guy is better in the eyes of Richard Spencer by virtue of being white, then. Yeah, that's the problem I take with a lot of white nationalists. I mostly agree with them. I just can't get all absolutist about it. Wings isn't my brother. Movie Bob's not my brother. Um, who would win, a multi-million-dollar industry or one single shit post? Nothing's more telling about the sad state of Marvel Comics than the fact that titles like Star Wars Adventures, more and more Star Wars titles, actually, from what I understand, coming to that company. Star Wars Adventures, which is a Disney property. Comics like DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Disney Princesses comics, and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge comics. None of them are being published at Marvel Comics right now. Almost all of them are at IDW. So he says, I'm not against ethno states. I just think they're unrealistic. Well, I mean, there are ethno states that exist in the world right now. Japan and Israel are two prime examples of prosperous, relatively free first world nations that are basically ethno states. So, I mean, they exist. I'm certainly not opposed to the idea of them, you know. And every one of these cucked conservatives that wants to run their mouth about how they do oppose the ideal of them, I really, really love to try and pin them down on why the fuck they support Israel. John Steele says, "Where's my free Starbucks coffee?" Somebody asked John Steele in Wakanda with Dwayne. I love that that's happened in Starbucks. I love that picture of that fucking soy boy behind the counter with his faggy trimmed beard getting yelled at by some dindu. It's like, first of all, he deserves it because you know he's some cucked faggot that's all like, "I support Black Lives Matter" and shit like that. So he deserves it, and quite possibly it's waking him up. But at the very least, he deserves it. So I'm laughing at it happening to him. Bechtloff, what do you think of the evangelical cucking to BLM and SJWs? It's not as much to SJWs because SJWs are all about the faggots, and that is a hard line the evangelicals will draw. But yeah, they cuck to the BLM shit way too much. The idea that you can be, Richard Spencer's the worst thing in the fucking world. Sorry, my phone going off. Very, very very, very unprofessional there. But the idea that, Richard Spencer and the Unite the Right rally is the worst thing in the world and Christians have to speak up against it, but you're always going to be silent about fucking Black Lives Matter. Eat a dick. Trust me, I'm no fan of the Unite the Right rally, and I had almost nothing but criticism for it. But they at least weren't burning down the Starbucks, or I'm sorry, the Starbucks, the CVS, whatever. They weren't violent fucking animals. Let's see. Oh, sorry, I was checking the message there. Wouldn't mind Israel so much if they just step out of American affairs. Well, Israel and these fucking batshit crazy neocons and a lot of the warmongering left, they're just bound and determined to start World War III over there. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with Israel. At this point, not only would I not topple Assad, I'd let Assad control the whole fucking region. It's the last place in that region where they're not killing Christians. Yeah, fuck Israel. And fuck them. Yeah, I wouldn't mind them if they weren't trying to fucking, be a bunch of subversive shitheads towards my country and shit like that. But I mean, at this point, that's like saying I wouldn't mind the Muslims if they'd stop trying to kill everybody. I mean, they don't seem to want to do that. I want to read an article from Breakpoint. Speaking of evangelicals, let me bring it up. Because I have very mixed feelings about this article. Okay, so this is by John Stone Street. And let me see if I can get the date. It's from April 17th, 2018. It's called Breakpoint, Freedom from Religion and Your Pastor's Taxes. Breakpoint is like the name of the series it is of these articles. So Breakpoint, colon, Freedom from Religion and Your Pastor's Taxes. Alert your ministers now. So bad. All right. So, and you can actually listen to this or just read the article. So I want to go. I skimmed this the other day, but all right. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, which is some militant fucking fedora group, by the way, has targeted the ministerial housing tax exemption, but it's something worth saving. Last October, a federal district court judge in Wisconsin ruled that the tax exemption for ministerial housing allowances is an unconstitutional establishment of religion. The ruling came in response to a challenge by, you guessed it, the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Now, the dollar amount involved is pretty small, about $800 million, but the impact of ending the exemption would be significant not only for clergy, but for the entire country. Here's the deal. The Internal Revenue Code, blah, 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 exempts the value of housing provided to what it calls ministers of the gospel from gross income for purposes of income tax. This exemption also covers non-Christian clergy and covers both the rental value. So, okay, so it other religions can take advantage of this too. Okay, fair enough. covers both the rental value of the home if provided by. All right, so here we go. By allowing ministers to, I want to make sure I get his take on it. By allowing ministers to take housing allowances exemptions, Congress wasn't establishing religion at all. It was ending a kind of discrimination against religion. How so? It was putting pastors on the same footing as other similarly situated employees. And it's important to note that the exemption only applies to income tax. I don't know of, the tax code's overly complicated, but not that many people get to write off their housing as a job expense. Here's the thing about this. I'm perfectly fine with this being the case. That's fine. At this point, I'm fine with every single person out there that is, actually pushing civilization in a positive direction. I'm happy with them getting every fucking break from the government they can, every fucking tax credit they can, whatever. That said, though, there was something about this article and some of the other coverage I've seen on the topic that just struck me. It just rubbed me the wrong way, in that it's like, look, I'm fine with this bloated ass government exists, and there does come a point where I'm saying, look, get yours if you can. Okay. If you can get some from it, that's fine. I want all the God-fearing K types to take advantage of the system as much as they can, so that maybe we can fix things, so that maybe we can be in a good enough position to fix things and that sort of thing. But I don't want to see us reverting to this R-type mentality of, what about my Gibbs? What about my give me dat? And and I've seen a lot of this in the cover to this particular topic, where it's like, oh, but my give me dat. I don't want to see the church lusting after Caesar's coin like this. By all means, take it if you can get it, and use it, use it for the church. But come on, let's not be all about the give me dats, okay? Let's just not. Ideally, I'd rather the tax code just be really, really simplified. Frankly, ideally, I'd rather there just be a fucking flat tax, and that's it. Either income or sales. I prefer sales tax, actually, because people should be encouraged to save. Somebody says Bechtloff be like Poland, taking advantage of the support system while giving nothing back and establishing your own power base within it. And I'm fine with that. By all means, do that if you can. But that's not what Stone Street is arguing for here. He's arguing for no. Don't ever let me get taken off the teat. And that's kind of the problem then with that. Oh, what we got in the chat here. Well, Bechtloff, if you could, would you be willing to become a pastor? The real reason it's weak right now is most alpha males have chosen to go gulp from various leadership positions in Christianity. I don't know how alpha male I'd really call myself. I do have a pair of balls, but I don't know if I'd really call myself much of an alpha. Is John Stone Street that Dampy looking downy? He can go back to digging graves. He does look like Dampy from Ocarina of Time. He really does. I tell you, if we're ever doing an Ocarina of Time movie, somebody needs to approach John Stone Street, because we got that role filled out perfectly. But no, I don't really think I'd want to be a pastor. I don't know if am I really a pastor material? I don't know about that. Because here's the other thing, like what a pastor does on Sunday morning, that is that's like the tip of the iceberg of his job. That's the most visible part. But like the tip of the iceberg is the most visible part. There's way more to it than that. I could do the Sunday morning part of a pastor's job. It's the rest of the week I couldn't do. Okay. It's having to be a shepherd to the flock and having, like, I don't like getting up in people's business. I don't like doing that. You know, I don't like, I don't like being, I don't like doing that shit. I don't like getting up in people's business. I don't like getting up in their, and pastor's got to be the guy that does get up in your business, that confronts you, that calls you out on bullshit when you need called out. And I'm not that guy. I'm on max level of minding my own business, generally speaking. So he says taxation is theft. I've never gone that full libertarian. I've often amended that to say, unnecessary taxation is theft. The government taking more than it needs to perform its basic functions is theft. I think white toilets and urinals are part of implicit white racism. They should be painted black, brown, and yellow for diversity. We need to talk about digital blackface in reaction gifs. Oh, Lordy. So he says, Bechtloff, you understand the pastor's job better than most of these soy boys. Zach the Bong River says, what's up, good people? I'm pastor material. Let's see. Somebody says, Bechtloff, the only pastors I really enjoy besides my pastor are John MacArthur, Conrad, what is that? Mbewe. I don't know how to pronounce that. Vodi Bakum, really great. Take no shit. Give no excuses, kind of men of God. I'm a big fan when it comes to like, pastors with actually, para-ministry, kind of media things going on. I'm a big fan of Steve Brown over at Key Life Ministries. Let's see. So he says, I don't think that atheists and Satanists really have thought this far ahead on the whole tax at church thing. Most of the expenses would become tax write-offs immediately, and we wouldn't get shit anyways. So he says, can I be on a first-name basis with you, Bechtloff? Sure, why not? Zach the Bong Ripper, because we're all very intimately aware of your wife. So good old Remy. It's funny too. Like this guy took this name after I was making fun of, Remy LaCroix and her husband Zach the Bong Ripper, and somebody messaged me and said in the chat, said, "No, that actually is the real Zach the Bong Ripper." And I thought to myself for a second, I'm like, it's such a weird fucking current year that wouldn't actually surprise me. like I wouldn't have expected it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be totally shocked. Somebody says, why do so many female pastors have short hair? Probably because they're lesbians. Lesbians tend to have short hair, as I understand it. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't claim to have my finger on the pulse of the lesbian community. Remy LaCroix. You mean Rotten LaCroix? Oh, that poor kid. But at least Remy never had to do the apple scene. Do pastors get to perform the sexual duties in place of husbands who can't satisfy their wives? I think Mark Driscoll wishes he could do that. A lot of black men are intimately involved with Remy. I'm sure she did all kinds of interracial too. I mean, I would imagine that a porn star just makes the rounds. From all the different kinks, all the different sites. There are no female pastors. Those women are false prophets. But yeah, that article just rubbed me the wrong way. It's that creeping like crypto leftism that gets into evangelical culture sometimes because of the soy boys that run it. My kink is dressing up like Stalin and fucking a hot Aryan girl while a guy dressed as Hitler is tied up and forced to watch. I think I saw you share that in the Discord too. Which, by the way, Ian, you can put a link to the Discord in the chat, like an invite thing. If you want more people to join, that's fine. At what age will Remy's kid commit suicide? Place your bets. I think the real question is, would it be harder to be a boy or a girl in that situation? You know, it's really apples and oranges of types of hell. So I'm really not sure. As I've often said, it's one thing when the bully on the playground says your mom is a whore. It's quite another when he can provide hours of video evidence that your mom is the filthiest of whores. Porn actresses are like the people who change their oil 30 minutes for $40. In all fairness, having someone change your oil, I consider that totally worth it if I have the money. Like, if I can budget that, I'm fine with it. I make it a point to know how to change the oil in every car I own, and then, hopefully I don't have to. Somebody says she is the master of IR ATM. Okay, so interracial. Do you mean interracial at the moment, or do you mean interracial the other ATM? Remy's kid will kill himself after he realizes he jacked off to his mom. Ooh, that's harsh. Sorry, I'm responding to a text. It's totally professional on my totally professional show. Oh, let's see. What else did I want to come over? Somebody says damage at DC is Hulk done right. I've heard it's a lot like Hulk. Yeah, I might check it out. I might pick up like the trade paperback or something of Volume 1. I mean, isn't it already like 2 or 3 issues in or something like that? Not a lot I'm reading regularly, to be honest. Most of what I'm reading are just a bunch of miniseries, like little crossovers that catch my attention or something like that. Yeah, I'm a sucker for crossovers. But yeah, not a great deal I'm actually reading long term. Thoughts on Warren Ellis? Is he yet another overrated crumpet chomping writer? Yeah, he's overrated as fuck. I mean, he's done some really good stuff, but he's very, very overrated. Somebody says, I thought Bechtloff was a little harsh on Wings of Redemption until I started watching his videos. Yeah, Wings of Redemption. Holy shit. It's funny how I could immediately know everything I needed to know about him just watching one clip. Somebody says, how's Peterson's book? I'm about halfway through it. It's fantastic. It's really good. So far I highly recommend it. A lot of people in the alt-right, they want to shit on Peterson because he's a little blue pill on a few questions, primarily racial questions. But nonetheless, it's just tremendous advice. And I'm sorry, but The things that need fixed are, in many regards, we need, we need to fix things on individual levels here. You know, to the alt right, I continuously say, if you want to save the white race, then make the white race worth saving. The white race is its own worst enemy right now. It's committing suicide. Somebody says, "Did you read Anne's new book?" I did not. She actually sent me a PDF of it. Her short new book, The Sen Vendetta, and I do want to check it out. It sounds really interesting. Bechtloff, why do you hate Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Now, bear in mind, I have not watched it since I got like halfway through season 1. I watched a little bit of season 2 when it first started. I just think it's boring as fuck. Agents of Snore, I continuously call it. I can't get into it. I know Ghost Rider appeared in it, but it's that shitty Mexican version of Ghost Rider with the car. Like, come on. You can't give me Johnny Blaze or even Dan Ketch. You got to give me, I don't know, fucking Jose or whatever the fuck his name is. It's just not good. I mean, I want to like it. I would love it to be good, but it's not. I mean, it's not. I sat down wanting to like it. I was still very, very much into the Marvel Cinematic Universe at that point. I mean, I still enjoy it greatly, but at that point, I was like, "Hot damn, a TV show tied into the Avengers movie? Fuck yeah!" And it was like there just came a point where I remember sitting around one time, and it was like, I guess Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming on. I guess I should put it on. I'd rather not. Like, I just don't care. My brother-in-law likes Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I say it sucks. I just, again, maybe it got better after I quit, but you know. Cable Marvel sucks. Netflix Marvel is the shit. In all fairness, I've only watched Daredevil on Netflix. I mean, I have Netflix. I could easily watch any of them. I just haven't yet. Daredevil season 1 is a masterpiece. Daredevil season 2 is good. It's not season 1, that's for sure, but it's good. Let's see. Bechtloff, I watched all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I thought it was good from the second season onward after Winter Soldier movie. Yeah, supposedly that really changed the dynamics in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I guess it would have to if you've seen Winter Soldier. I didn't know the villains went to a villain high school in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I remember the Gravitron episode, and I just was really disappointed in it. The pauses infected everything. Somebody says, watch The Punisher. I gotta say, I liked The Punisher in Daredevil season 2, but it's like, my favorite live action Punisher is Partial Warzone. Like, before Daredevil season 2, I chose to believe that existed in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it's just so good. It's just so perfectly Punisher, man. There's never been a better version of Punisher on screen than that. Let's see. Pauses infected everything. I read that already. But yeah, I couldn't get into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sorry, folks. Responding to a text, very unprofessional. Thoughts on Australian Rick and Morty, which I sent you. I did not watch it yet. Sorry. Punisher was okay. I haven't seen season 2 of Jessica Jones, but last really good season so far was Luke Cage. Yeah, I haven't caught it. Like I said, I've only caught Daredevil's season 1 and 2. Sorry about that, folks. Responding to a text. Have you gotten rid of cable yet? I have not yet. Not everybody in the house is ready to make that plunge yet. I would do it if it were up to me. I saw Death Wish remake. Can see why Libs Cucks would hate us. Honestly, a good film. It looked really good. I actually meant to go see that. I just kind of forgot it had just sort of come and gone, and I meant to get around to it, and I hadn't. I'll probably get it. I might just pick it up on DVD when I see it out on DVD. You know, I mean that's the thing about going to the movies. It's so fucking expensive to go to the movies. I mean, what? It's like $10 for a ticket. So if you're taking somebody, it's $20 right there. Then on top of that, popcorn food, or you could wait till it comes out on DVD. Go to Target and $15, it's yours. Watch as many times as you want. Um, Daredevil season 2 had the same sort of problem Spider-Man 3 had. So many good ideas, but too much for one movie. Sort of a mess. You could buy a fat quality steak for movie prices, pretty much, man. You know, a movie's hardly a cheap date, that's for sure. Let's see. Bushword Rick and Morty is Rick and Morty as Arini said it was. Um, I mean, supposedly Rick and Morty's done. I've heard Netflix might pick it up, but Adult Swim did not ask for a season 4. Um, for whatever reason, there's a lot of theories going around on that. Supposedly, one of the big ones is that the reruns of season 3 didn't do well, and Adult Swim like shows they can rerun the fuck out of, especially when you got a million years in between fucking seasons. Um, and when I think about that myself, like I rewatched season 1 and 2 a bunch of times, but I watched season 3 like one time each, and never felt the need to rewatch them. I don't hate them nearly as much as some people this corner of the internet do, but I mean, it's certainly a massive drop in quality from the first 2 seasons. The smell of a movie theater when you first enter is awesome and nostalgic. I like going to the movies. It's just A, there's not much movies to go see, and then B, it's just so damn expensive. I can't justify it anymore. Um Makes me wonder how movie Bob can stay fat with the cost of going to the movies. Well, in all fairness, fattening food is cheaper generally. It's more expensive to eat healthy. I mean, you know, how many boxes of Pop Tarts can you get for the same price of, some lean meat and good vegetables and all? Let's see. Dan Harmon got caught up in the Weinstein effect. I don't know if that was it or not. I mean, I know he got accused of a little bit of that, but I don't think it stuck. Saw Blazing Saddles the other day. Boy, I miss casual racism in movies. There's actually this web series that I see people sharing on Facebook called Zach Morris's Trash, and it's like a critique of the old Saved by the Bell show, which just points out all the problematic things that Zach from Saved by the Bell does. Ugh. Um, let's see. Um, Harmon performed autistic Reen. He's dead. Movie Bob wipes sweat from his forehead with Pop Tarts and wipes his ass with fruit roll ups. Black Panther was all right. Arini sort of overdid his criticism of it. Well, Arini didn't like it was because it was a superhero movie. He went to go see a superhero movie and it was a superhero movie, and he read. I mean, there's no better way to describe it. I still didn't see Black Panther. I don't have a great deal of interest in it. I've heard a lot of people say good things about it too. Black Panther made me hate the 90s gangster culture. Know how hard that is to do. I'm not sure why exactly, but I'm 10 episodes into Star Trek Enterprise. I don't see why people hate it. I haven't seen it in forever. I couldn't tell you. I just remember it really, really, really did not connect with me. I think one of the biggest problems I had with Star Trek Enterprise, I shouldn't say biggest, but it's almost one of the most symbolic problems of it, of why it just didn't feel like Star Trek to me. Every other Star Trek show starts with this instrumental theme. Star Trek Enterprise starts with some gay song about, like, it sounds like that song from South Park, flying so high above the sky. Never thought I could be so free. It's like, fuck this. I couldn't get into it. Just the overall feel of it just did not connect with me. Now, in all fairness, I mean, I felt the same way about DS9 for a very long time until I gave it a deeper chance, because I think season 1 of DS9 is very rough. Somebody says, I admit I've never seen much of Star Trek, but I like the Orville. Irini's overly critical of it. I don't get me wrong, I love Davis. He's a friend of the show. He's a friend of mine. Davis is a pretentious fuck, and he doesn't like the fact that the Orville has jokes in it. Like, he keeps just getting jokes in it. I don't like it. It's too much fun. The Orville's just having too much fun for him. There's too much fun. So you can't bring Irini to the table with fun. You got to say that there's going to be catharsis or other pompous ass fucking buzzwords to bring him to the table. You can't just bring him to the table with fun. And the Orville ain't really trying to do nothing but be fun. You know, Seth MacFarlane said, I'll make my own Star Trek with blackjack and hookers. And that's exactly what he did. Irini's awesome. He's how I found you. I mean, I like Irini. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of the show. But, you know, he's a bit of a pompous ass at times. There's no getting around it. Love the guy to death, you know? Yeah. But he never wants to just have fun. He's got to always justify it. TNG is the most overrated series. DS9 is arguably the best. Enterprise is underrated, and Voyager is the redheaded stepchild. I would argue that TOS is overrated. TNG probably was overrated, but people are now really, as time, its age is caught up with it, and people are really seeing through the flaws, myself included. Voyager, I would call underrated, simply because everyone just despises the shit out of it. And it wasn't that bad. The biggest problem I have with Voyager is that it just so thoroughly fails to live up to its potential. I mean, I would argue the setup of Voyager had more potential than any other Star Trek series premise. But it really doesn't live up to that. TNG is one of those things where it's like season 1 is garbage. Absolute fucking garbage. The pilot and Conspiracy are the only halfway good episodes from that. Season 2 is still really rough. Season 3 is when the show found its stride. Season 3, 4, 5, and 6 are good. Season 7, though, they just hit a wall, and they just ran the fuck out of ideas. And, like, every plot to season 7 is just goofy and dumb. That said, though, season 7 is still much better than season 1 because the actors at least had grown into the roles by that point. So he says Irini versus Bechtloff Kumite. Now, it's not a beef with Irini. I like Irini. He's been on this show numerous times. I'll be on his show numerous times. You know, the guy just needs to learn to have a little bit more fun in life. You know. I mean, why? I say this to him on the stream all the time. And if I'm not in the stream, I'm in the chats. Like, Davis, you pompous fuck. John Steele says Darmok. Indeed, Darmok when the walls fell. Deep Space Nine is great. Plain and simple, Garrick. Yeah, Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is better than I thought it was for a very long time. I really got a bad impression from that show in season 1, and I just did not give it enough credit. I didn't watch much of TNG. Please tell me why Wesley gets sodomized by the Black Stone Squid Monster. What the hell is the Black Stone Squid Monster? Are you talking about the Tar Monster that killed Tasha Yar? But no, Wesley does actually go off with the space pedophile in season 7. He does go live with the space pedophile, so I'm sure he did get sodomized. I went to pay Arini to review The Fifth Element. That's a damn good movie. Let's see. Is there any good sci-fi currently on air? Like I said, if you have a sense of humor about it, the Orville's pretty good. Other than that, I couldn't tell you. Couldn't really tell you. Blackstone Squid Monster Wharf. Yeah, I don't know what the Blackstone Squid Monster was. Okay, not really sure on that. Were they Catholic space pedos? No, I don't believe they were. How come Clary doesn't ever stream with you guys? Because Clary's just very lazy. He just doesn't pop in. I mean, he can pop in whenever. I think part of it is just, not around when I'm going live. Let's see. Any coincidence that Star Trek Discovery is STD and the main character is a foul-mouthed black woman? I'm gonna say that's a coincidence. Somebody says I've seen Orville. It's funny and I like it, but it's not quite what I wanted. I think Orville got marketed poorly too. Like Orville was marketed more as a parody, and it's really not. It's funny, but it's also serious. It straddles the line between drama and comedy. Clary has a life. Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. He done. Not like me. I'm just sitting here streaming. Alone on a Wednesday night? God, you pathetic. Yep, Luke's here.
Hello, everyone.
He's live from a Starbucks. They're going to throw him out soon because, only black people are allowed to loiter there.
Are they now? I thought that was against the rules.
Nope, it's okay now. But only black people. But I don't know. Maybe if you say you identify as black, though, that might. Clary's busy trying to stay warm at the North Pole. Artistic layman, can you bring up a picture of DC's New Age of Heroes? Okay, if you want. Luke's going to actually get lynched in his Dunkin' Donuts. Clary needs to open up his own college. Let's see. Star Trek STD using the Enterprise and young Spock to try and get viewers for season 2. Yeah, supposedly it did terribly. I mean, part of that is CBS buried it on their fucking streaming service that no one knew existed. And Bechtloff, Aaron Clary's show as an invite when? What, like on his show? I've actually guest hosted an episode of his show. I'm trying to intrigue Bechtloff with DC's New Age of Heroes. Like, Damage looks okay. The rest of them look a little, I don't know, early 90s Image comics for my taste. Let's see who would win in a fight between baked Alaska and a bear. Let's find out. Bring up sexy Daphne and Velma pictures. Did you watch Netflix The Ritual yet? I have not. I haven't really fired up my Netflix in a little while, actually. I think the last thing I really watched on Netflix was Stranger Things season 2, and it was back in October. Thoughts on the next Star Trek film being 18 rated, directed by Tarantino? Could it work DS9 style? I don't know. I don't have any faith in that franchise. I just don't. I don't think there's anybody working on it that has any idea why anybody originally liked it. I mean, in all fairness, that's true of most things in the entertainment industry right now. You know, it's just, you know. Yeah, I don't see it working. I just don't. I don't see anything about Star Trek working ever again.
Can Hollywood make anything from the past work again?
No, because like back in the past, there were people that worked on these things that still had shreds of a soul left. These SJW fucks can't make anything good. They just simply can't. Yeah, I just don't see him doing it. Hollywood kept white guilt going for 70 years. They should stop trying to make the past work and make new shit. I miss Leonard Nimoy. Didn't Star Trek has an abnormally large amount of pedophile fans? I've heard that. I couldn't tell you why. You know, I don't know. Other than the fact that, you know, Star Trek sort of has this, you know, technological utopia where natural consequences don't really happen. So maybe that's why pedophiles are attracted to it. Did you hear what Clint said about Hollywood? I did not. Let's see. Leonard Nimoy, the only Jew replaced by a white kid. New Trek 1 and 3 were only okay. Wrath of Soy Khan deserves to be nuked into eternity. Voyager and Buffy apparently had an abnormally large amount of pedo fans. I had not heard that. I think I remember Buffy, like watching Buffy a little bit during season 1. And I like, just because my local, I think it was WB back then or UPN or one of the two, but they actually played it Saturday afternoon when like nothing else was fucking on TV. So like I used to catch it some, and it was okay. It was, or you could do a series about Riker and Troy on their own starship. Supposedly there was a I think it's called Star Trek Titan, but there was a series of books that take place after the last TNG movie in which Riker gets his own ship and he takes a few of the crew members with him, like the main cast crew members with him. I've heard they were pretty good if you like the Star Trek books. Didn't Buffy had a redhead in it? Yeah, they had that redhead that was also an American Pie. She was pretty hot back in the day. I thought Buffy fans were just gay. Oh, wait. I see what you did there. Let's see.
Here's what Clint supposedly said.
Let's see. see. Actor Clint Eastwood makes massive announcement. Hollywood is the place of traitors and pedophiles. This morning, I've decided to leave this awful place and fight against traitors with real American patrons with Donald Trump. Huh. How about that? Let's see. Star Trek Titan would have been awesome, but we have to make room for the gays and AIDS. And pause and to boldly pause where no one has paused before. I remember coming across a forum post asking if it was okay to be attracted to Dawn, the 15-year-old girl from Buffy. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of 15-year-olds are pretty fuckable in all fairness. I'm not saying you should do it, but being attracted to a 15-year-old in pedophilia. Let's not blur that line. It's, it's skeezy to act on it, but teenage girls are often very hot. That's just, most people never look better than when they're like 17. What is that atrocity on the right, Luke? Oh, that's Gen Z. If you've never watched Medicare's video on it, you really, really should. It's some animated fucking web series this scam artist SJW came up with, where he had the main character, that redhead there, is a tranny, and they actually got some tranny to voice it. So, so progressive. I have noticed, though, a lot of Buffy fans are insufferable. Like, just insufferable.
What fan base isn't these days?
Well, in all fairness, but Buffy fans have always been. How much money does Hollywood have to lose in order to learn that pause and diversity quotas don't sell products? At this point, they're the Joker from Dark Knight. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message.
Everything burns.
Yeah, everything burns. They're all gonna burn. That's for sure. It's cute that they think Gen Z will be progressive. Throw both Buffy and Firefly fans into the same oven. Shame that they're both decent series. Oh God, Firefly fans are so like. Firefly fans will not fucking shut up about it. It's the worst thing about it. Like, you haven't watched Firefly? It's like, no, I haven't watched that show that was on for a season. Oh, it was so good. Okay, maybe it was. Like, why would I even want to get into it? If 10 years after the fact, you're still butthurt about the fact that it got canceled early. Why would I want to get into it at this point? Sorry, folks. I know. Totally unprofessional. I'm texting during the stream. I'm just so bad at what I do.
What's next? Driving during the stream?
I'm gonna do my next stream just texting and driving all fucking time. Fuck the police. Firefly is massively overrated. Serenity was a good movie from it, at least. They got a movie and they're still pissy. There was an episode of the Cleveland show where like Cleveland's fat nerd son was at a Comic Con. He was arguing about why Firefly wasn't good, and he says like it's a ship full of Han Solos, and when everyone is Han Solo, no one is Han Solo. I was kind of like, that actually. Now again, I haven't really seen the show, but that sort of sounds like a like really good taking the piss out of that show. Let's see. Most strong women. Cowboy Bebop is fantastic. I've only seen about maybe half of Cowboy Bebop, but it's pretty good. It's definitely pretty good for one of those goop tunes. Let's see. I've probably rambled on enough here. All right, folks. If you enjoy the content I put out, the show, this quality content, obviously you can't super chat right now, but you can hit the PayPal for a one-time donation, or the Patreon to become a regular supporter, or you can hit the Amazon wish list. And as I've said on here numerous times, any sort of media that is bought for me off the Amazon wish list, I will do a review of when I'm finished, be it a DVD or a video game or a book or whatever. I will review it once I'm done with it. If it's like a figure, and I mean, I don't know how the fuck I'm gonna review that. Like, you know, I opened it up, I put it on the bookshelf. It looks nice on the bookshelf. I don't know what else you'd want me to say about it.
You have points of articulation.
Yeah, I do a look. You can move the arm here. I don't know. I mean, I might mention it and talk about it a little bit, but I'll do an actual solid review of the bits of media. And like I said, there's obviously the PayPal and Patreon ways to support. So that's about all we got for tonight, folks. I'm going to be going to a second shift schedule starting tomorrow, so I might be doing some late night stuff. So if you're a night guy like me, you could look forward to that. And, if you're listening to this on the Bechtloff channel, go ahead and subscribe to the backup channel and you can catch this stuff live. All right. So that's about all we got for tonight, folks. Thanks for listening. And